ready. I'll help him to pick the hymns for next Sunday. Any 3 out of the top 20.
Never forget that wee voice, do you? During the summer of 1966, the BBC asked me to appear in a programme called Blackpool Night. I must admit, when I arrived in Blackpool, then I was a wee bit nervous. But I was soon put at my ease as the star of the show approached me, shook my hand and said, "I used to play the accordion, Lawrie." And I'm a wee bit tense. He says, "Oh, don't worry, just relax and enjoy being accompanied by the best orchestra in England." I walked into the spotlight and Jimmy was quite correct. Orchestra were amazing. And it all ended too soon. I was back in the dressing room. He grinned and shook my hand and said, "Great stuff, Lawrie. We'll work again together one day, soon." His prediction was correct. The following year, 1967, I was booked for the Floral Hall Theatre in Scarborough. And the star of the show, Jimmy Clitheroe. It was a great, lavish summer season. I played golf with Jimmy, the bachelors, and we played to packed houses every night, queuing up to get into it. And the crowd loved Jimmy. The cast went on a fishing trip. There was lots of parties and everything, but this fishing trip stood out in my mind. After the season finished, we returned to Blackpool where we lived. And so did Jimmy. He lived in a bungalow not far away. And he'd pop in occasionally. Once he ran out of petrol for his Merc and had to borrow a £5. He was going out the door but stopped when he noticed a poster advertising a show. He picked it up and he said, "What's this?" I said, "Oh, I'm taking that show on tour. I'm going to the Isle of Man to host my own show in Summerland and I'm calling it the Golden Giveaway Show. But I need to practice audience participation, so I'm taking this show out for 3 weeks." Jimmy said, "I could top the bill for you, Lawrie, in your touring show." Looks like fun. "Yeah, I would enjoy this, I think." I said, "Jimmy, you're a big star. How could I possibly afford your salary?" He says, "Oh, don't worry about the salary. Don't worry about that." He says, "No, I need something to do. My radio show finished. Radio gone out, the longest series on BBC Radio at that time." He said, "My television show's cancelled. I did a record, that's gone nowhere. And Bernard Delfont wants me next summer to go to the Winter Gardens Theatre in Morecambe. Well, it's a white elephant. They never pack that place, and that means my salary will have to go down. That's why he's doing it. So I'm not having, I've refused it." I said, "Oh dear." He says, "So when can we get started, Lawrie? Let's shake hands on it then." So we did, and we set to work. Well, the show was a big smash. It really was. Packed it was, and they really enjoyed it. Did they laugh? After the show, there was a big queue outside the dressing room door. A heck of a noise. And there was a bang, bang, bang. There was only one dressing room and the whole cast were in it. Bang, bang on the door. I opened the door a crack and there's a large lady standing there, waving an autograph book saying, "We want Jimmy." I said, "She'll have to wait a minute." She pushed the door, it came off the hinges and fell flat on the floor. She stood on the door and said, "Where is he?" I says, "Well, you're standing on him, look." We got him out, and the padding, all the coats on the back of the door, so that saved him from any injury. But he only grinned. He says, "Oh, that's a first." It was hard work, but he really was enjoying himself. He said, "Lawrie, fill up the diary." I said, "Fill up the diary? Are you sure?" He says, "Oh yeah." He says, "This is great. I'm really enjoying myself." Well, we ended up in Plymouth, Devon, and he suddenly became very depressed. He said, "I'm fed up now, Lawrie. I'm out." "You're out?" I was stunned. I says, "But I've filled up the diary now for you, and we've still got obligations and contracts have been signed. We've got to fulfil them. She said, no, I'm having this brandy and then going to my hotel and that's it. Good night. And he walked out. The next morning, I was jolted awake by thumping on my door. I was told that there was a load of reporters downstairs who wanted to talk to me. Said Jimmy Clitheroe is in hospital. Well, I immediately visited the hospital, but I was refused entry because he was too ill. Then the bookers were ringing up telling me, saying, you'll have to fulfill your obligations. We booked your show and we want your show. And if Jimmy Clitheroe's not in it, you'll have to replace him with another star name. That glass of brandy and Jimmy was the last time I had a conversation with him and the last time I saw him. I had to go to the Isle of Man, went to Summerland, and then the girl who was in the show, Sandra Sinclair, phoned me up and said, Lawrie, Jimmy's died. I said, oh dear, I felt very sad because I know he got depressed and had enough, but you know, I love Jimmy. He was great fun, and he certainly got me started doing touring shows. I eventually became a producer. That was down to Jimmy, really. Another star who made millions of people laugh and happy, gone.